UFC Abu Dhabi this weekend headlined by Magomed Ankalaev and short notice replacement for Khalil Rountree, Bogdan Guskov. This is not a great card overall, but a lot of big Abu Dhabi prospects. Let's just jump right into it. First up, Abdul Hussein and Cody Gibson. Abdul Hussein coming off of the UAE Warriors, um, and I and his most recent fight in Ice Cage against Tyson Nam. Not a bad win, but he is 40 years old. 28 years old, 5'5", bantamweight. Cody Gibson, he's off of, I think, two finish losses. He got knocked out by Orichi Lang, and then he got subbed by Kimura against Damone Blackshear. He's been in the company for quite a long time. This is his second stint in the UFC, coming off of the Ultimate Fighter return in the, I think, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler Veterans versus Newcomers series. Cody Gibson was doing a decently well in his return, beating Brian Kelleher, Chad Anheliger, but he's been finished twice in his last two. 38 years old, but massive size difference. I'm not sure on the reach. I've watched a few of Abdul Hussein's fights. He was very, very active in UAE Warriors up until his last fight, and he's taken a 6-month break. Cody Gibson, 8 months since he got knocked out by Arichi Lang, but this is a striker versus heavy grappler matchup. Um, Abdul Hussein has some decent subs, but they're against like absolute bums and pretty much newcomers in the sport. Not really sure how to play this. Cody Gibson is a heavy underdog, 300 plus 300, probably going to be plus 400 by the night of. He's old, but he's much longer, and this could be a stylistically good matchup for him. But then again, the last time he had that, he got knocked out by Richie Lang. I want to pick Cody Gibson in this, but I think I'm probably just gonna go Abdul Hussein by knockout in the first round. Just Cody Gibson has not looked super great in his last few matches. Damone Blackshear, he was doing decently well, and then he got taken down. He got subbed. So yeah, I guess I'll take the younger guy. He is massively outsized though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got grapple fucked and then subbed, just off of the UFC experience. But we'll have to see. Next up, Nurulo Aliev and Mike Davis. Nurulo Aliev coming off his pretty much his statement career win really against Shamrock. The UFC thought they were feeding Shamrock, who was a big Cage Warriors prospect from the UK scene. He got fraud checked twice now, and I think he's been cut. Aliev kind of just a sludge grappler, not okay hands, but kind of not no knockout power, not a big threat on the feet or the ground. Doesn't really look for a lot of finishing moments in his fights. Mike Davis fought like Ramirez last. A decent win, I think, second round TKO, although it was quite competitive, and Mitch Ramirez just got finished in the first round by Chase Hooper. Not a super great look. He is 6 foot to Nurul Ali of 5'10". He's got a half-inch reach advantage as well. He seems like the better striker, and a guy that can mix it up decently well on the ground. But he also does tend to gas. He's nearing 34 years of age. Um, Still leaning Mike Davis. I just don't see a lot of finishing upside for Aliev. He's kind of slow to start and doesn't really have any big moments in his fights. His fights against Joe Solecki and Rafael Alves are kind of fights I look at, and I'm not really too sure on him. Obviously, he's young. Like he's been in the company now nearly 4 years since he won on the Contender Series. So he was really young when he got signed. Um, He's undefeated 11-0. I just don't really know. Obviously, Mike Davis lost to Fares Ziam, and it hasn't aged. People say it hasn't aged well, but Fares Ziam was on a very good run until he had that really bad fight against Tom Nolan, which you could argue he still won. It was just a really bad performance on either side. So I wouldn't say it's not a win that's or loss that's aged bad, and it wasn't like he got finished or anything. Yeah, I mean, I saw his finish against Natan Levi, and he beat Borshev. Not super active, but I think he's looking to get a big win here. So I'm going to go Mike Davis by decision. Obviously, I think he can hurt Ankalaev to the body. He has better striking, but the main thing is, does he gas in this fight? He does have a higher pace of fighting than Ankalaev, so I trust that he'll probably manage it much better. And he does, and I believe he does have the grappling and takedown defense to work with against Ankalaev in this fight. So I'm gonna go Mike Davis by decision. Next up, Brandon Ribeiro and Magomed Tuchalov. Now, I won't lie, coming into this fight, I know nothing about this Tuchalov guy. He's 6-0 off UAE Warriors probably. Yep. Um and so I don't really like to trust a lot of these guys. I've seen Redson and Barrow and he's had good moments in the UFC. Obviously, I think he's riding a 3-fight KO or finish streak. Yeah, he lost to Yakyayev last, knocked out by Umar C, and knocked out by Azamat Murzakanov. Not great looks all around, but two of those guys, one of those guys is a top 7 light heavyweight. One of them was a big prospect in the light heavyweight division, and the other one is a very, very big. He just got a 9-second knockout over, I think, Julius Walker. So, not terrible people to get finished by, but Umar C is a bit more of a takedown warrior. Brenton Borough, he did beat, I think he subbed Nurgozai, and he did beat Kyle Machado by split decision. Uh, the other thing is Magomed Tuchalov. The only win I really know of him is also him knocking out Kyle Machado 3 months ago. Just off of that, it's plus 425 underdog. He's 29. He is fighting another guy 6'3", same size. He is kind of chinny. Probably gonna go Brenton Sabero. Probably gonna go Magomed Tuchalov. Uh, Probably a first round KO. He's chinny. He likes to get in the pocket. He scraps. It's whoever lands first, and in this case, gonna go the guy that's 6-0 and undefeated, hasn't been finished multiple times. Yep, just gonna go no brainer Magomed Tuchalov by KO. Next up, this is a very interesting fight. Ismail Bonfim, I think the younger or older brother, I think he might be the younger brother of Gabriel Bonfim, a now top 5 welterweight in the UFC. Hasn't really followed the same career trajectory as his brother. Gabriel Bonfim was undefeated, lost to Nicholas Dalby, and then put on a good winning streak to now be a top 5 welterweight. Ismail Bonfim's had a bit of more of a rough turn. He had a flying knee against Terrence McKinney. Got subbed by Benoit Saint-Denis. Not a bad loss to have. Beat an old 40-year-old Vince Pichel, and then got finished by Nazim Sadikov and finished by Chris Padilla in his last 2 fights. I think he's just the guy that if you give him that resistance, he will quit. He's clean striker. He has some decent grappling. I think he also did miss weight, or maybe Chris Padilla missed weight and it was a catch weight in his last fight. Axel Sola, very good striker, has some decent wrestling. Very impressive win in the second round, I think, against Reese McKee. I think it was fight of the year. Against Mason Jones a few months back. Mason Jones very good in his return to the UFC, so not a bad loss to have. Mason Jones is a guy that can just eat punches. I mean, he got knocked down bad against Axel Sola. I think it was like a spinning elbow of some sort, and then they just had one of the greatest fights you'll ever see. I recommend a lot of you guys search up Mason Jones and Axel Sola. It was a scrap for the ages, and it wasn't even like sloppy by any means. You know, these guys are 2 pretty technical strikers in their own right. And I think Axel Sola has the dog in him. He's the guy that will bite down on his mouthpiece and just keep moving forward. And Ismail Bonfim just does not work against guys that push forward against him and give him that resistance. He kind of needs those very light walking fights against guys like Vince Pichel, and he won't even get those big finishes, right? So I'm going to go the younger, taller, 6 foot, 4-inch height advantage, 2.5-inch reach advantage. Axel Sola, I think he can get a big second round finish over Ismail Bonfim and put himself back into those big prospect talks among the lightweight division. Next up, Santiago Ponzinibbio and Sam Patterson. Kind of a no-brainer. Gonna go Sam Patterson. I think he'll get a finish in the second round. He was on a big win streak, and then he lost to Michael Venom Page. He is kind of chinny. He did get knocked out by the Israeli lightweight who got cut although I think it was Yanal Ashmus, he did go to a close decision with Quillen Salkiel, so not a bad loss to have. He is now at welterweight. I think he's on 4 or 5 fight winning streak, or he was on a 4 or 5 win streak before he fought Michael Venom Page. But he does keep jumping from welterweight to middleweight. Not a bad loss in either, but it was a very very bad fight. Ponzinibbio though, very live on the feet, very very live on the feet. Could get a big KO over Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson just leaves his chin hanging in the air. These are two taller welterweights, and Patterson is 6'3". He's going to be looking to grapple, but I do think he can knock down Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio's chin just isn't there. He is 39. He's pushing. He's literally pushing 40 as hard as he can. Um, I think either way, Ponzinibbio probably will retire unless he loses a decision. I don't see him ending his career on that. But yeah, it just doesn't look like a great spot for Ponzinibbio, unfortunately. I do think he is very live for a KO, and if anything, I might play Ponzinibbio KO in like the later rounds. His like win against Carlston Harris and like Alex Moreno came in like the second or third round. Um, yeah, that's just how we're gonna go. I think Patterson will probably land on Ponzinibbio, and people say, oh, like he'll knock him down and get the sub. But quite frankly, the way Ponzinibbio has looked recently, he cannot eat a shot properly. So if he gets hit, he'll probably go down, and it'll just be a TKO finish. Sam Patterson probably in the second. Next up, we have Dustin Jacoby and Muhammad Saeed. Not going to go much into this fight. Don't know much about Muhammad Saeed. He has some big head kick KOs in his career. I think the UAE Warriors. A lot of unknown UAE Warriors debut on this card. And Dustin Jacoby, long time fight veteran in the MMA game. He's kickboxed. He's fought against guys like Alex Pereira in kickboxing. He's fought the who's who in the light heavyweight division. He's currently on a 3 fight straight KO streak and win streak. Started it off with the knockout of the year contender against Vitor Petrino, who's since moved up to heavyweight and has gone on a bit of a streak there. KO'd Bruno Lopez last year, and then followed it up this year with the KO over Julius Walker. Obviously, the most recent two aren't huge prospects to look out for, but Dustin Jacoby has looked very good at 38 years old. He's a fast striker, big, good, strong on the feet. He has good takedown defense as well. Muhammad Saeed, much more of a striker in his own right. As I said, he has some KO wins of himself, some head kick KOs back to back. Just not enough for me to say, oh yeah, this 9-0 prospect that's had only fights in the UAE scene is going to be a good veteran, Dustin Jacoby. I mean, people forget, man. This guy beat Khalil Roundtree and got robbed, and Khalil Roundtree is apparently a top 5 light heavyweight, so Dustin Jacoby should get this done very easily. I'm going to say Jacoby by round 1 KO. I think he's getting another flatline to make it 4 in a row. Next up, Walter Walker and Thomas Peterson. Walter Walker, everybody's always talking about this guy. 4 heel hooks straight. The last one being against Louis Sutherland, Kennedy Nzechukwu before that. I don't remember, but Dante Maez, yep, and Junior Tafa, who also went down to light heavyweight since. Thomas Peterson, kind of a very up and down career in the heavyweight division. He's been KO'd twice in his last 5 fights by Shamil Gaziev and more recently Vitor Petrino. Doesn't really have a great chin on him, so I could see Walter Walker getting it done on the feet. His last 2 wins were against Guilherme Pat and Dante Maez, 2 pretty bad heavyweights. And people talk about Walter Walker being kind of a mishap. People are saying, oh, he lost to Lucas Bursky, but that was 2 years ago. He's been on a streak since against much better fighters. And the only similar opponent they have recently, the only similar opponent they have is Dante Maez, and one finished him in the first, and the other went to a decision, which is pretty grindy against a guy like him. Thomas Peterson, slow, no chin, much smaller. Walter Walker is 6'6". People forget this guy is a big heavyweight and it's just because he's a big wrestling and grappling phenomenon. So I think he's going to get a big submission in the first round. It's going to be that signature heel hook. He's going to make it 5 in a row, and now he can't. He keeps saying, "Oh, I want to fight all these bums. I don't want to fight up in the rankings. I want to develop myself." Hey, bud, you're developed. You're fighting the best of the best soon in heavyweight. So let's get on to it. Let's get past this bum Thomas Peterson. Next up, a bit of a nothing burger, Abu Bakr Vagayev and Sagid Izagakmayev. The only one here with any notable experience is Izagakmayev. He went to a split decision against Nicholas Dalby 7 months ago. Not a great loss to have. You're 31 years old. You're fighting a 40-year-old ghost of Nicholas Dalby who got flatlined by Randy Brown. He was a big one prospect. To be fair, it was a 3-year layoff. Abu Bakr Vagayev, not a lot of upside for this guy either. Another ACA fighter from Russia, 2 years older. He is a bit smaller. I don't know the reach. Um, I could see Sagid getting a KO. Obviously, like the last fight, a bit of like a cherry pop. He just had a comeback. It's kind of hard after so many years, but gonna give him another shot. I think there isn't a way he loses this fight. I'm gonna go Sagid Izagakmayev by decision. I could see him getting a round 2 KO, probably a big right hook to drop him and finish him. Next up, Rizvan Kuniev and Tyrell Fortune. Now, Tyrell Fortune on a big 4-fight winning streak and just entering the UFC, he beat Marcin Tybura. I did not think he won that fight. It was close. Unfortunate how they announced Tybura the winner and then took it away and gave it to Fortune. Still didn't look that bad. He was fighting in PFL not too long ago. Yeah, just almost 2 years ago, he lost to Sergey Belostini. He's not good by any means. He's fought a lot of bums. He's 36 years old. A lot of pretty young for the current heavyweight situation. Rizvan Kuniev, obviously, he lost to Curtis Blades. He did just beat Yailton Almeida, who got cut. Very bad fight. He did pop for roids and got suspended and came back. Don't know how that happened, but it is what it is. Yeah, the guy's 34 years old, 264, big weight difference. Odds are pretty decent for like a small favorite. Better reach. He is a decent striker. Not much sure on the wrestling. Think Fortune has that advantage, but just kind of two slop heavyweights. Probably gonna go to decision, and I'd probably just lean Kuniev. I've seen just a bit more of him, and it's not impressive, but better than what I saw from Tyrell Fortune. These guys both suck, though. Next up, a very random fight. The return of John Pork and Damian Redzpetsky, I think, Polish fighter. 24 years old, 31 years old in Chanko, John Pork. He does have a 5-inch reach advantage on John Pork, though. He's got some good finishes, some liver shots. John Pork had a very impressive Dana White Contender Series, one of the best fights of all time on the Contender Series. A lot of people see a lot from him. I definitely think he can be much better than he last showed. This is a 10-0 prospect against an 8-0 prospect, so you can never really tell. Haven't seen anything from Damian, so I'm going to lean Chanko by decision. He has good striking, and he definitely has a bit of power to his shots, but I don't know if he'll get this guy out. Can't really say. Just I don't know much about this Damian Redzpetsky, so we're going Magomed John Pork Zainukov. Next up, not even going to waste any goddamn time. Wellington Turman is a really bad middleweight. Some people say like he could have been. Oh, I guess he fought at welterweight. Sorry, I apologize. I forgot he beat Sam Alvey at welterweight and then at middleweight, then went down. Yeah, he's not big in this situation. Islam Dulatov, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 3 inches advantage on both. He's younger by 3 years. He's been on a massive winning streak. He's looked very impressive on the Contender Series. He knocked out Adam Fugit in a round. Just no reason to not pick Dulatov by round 1 KO. Turman got subbed by Jared Gooden, who got cut since. He lost to Randy Brown. He lost to Andre Petrosky. Not losses you really want to have on your record as of late. Um, yeah, I just don't see much from him. The guy cheated aggressively against Sam Alvey to get a split decision win, which is really, really embarrassing. Don't see him getting anything out of this fight. He's not that good. He's massively outsized. Not a good striker. Not a great submission artist. We're going Islam Dulata by round 1 KO. Next up, we have Steve Erceg and Ramazan Timirov's return after a 1-year suspension after beating Charles Johnson. Steve Erceg, we all know the story. The guy gets a title shot because there isn't anybody available, and he gets a very close loss to Alessandro Pantoja, where it was basically 2-2 going into that 5th round. After that, thrown into the wolves, Kai Kara-France knocks him out in a round. And then he lost a 5-round decision to Brandon Moreno in Mexico. So, a bit of an unfortunate start to his very young career. He's 30. He's about to turn 31 very soon. Steve Erceg didn't rack up 2 wins recently. Short notice, Ode Osborne was at bantamweight, though, because of that, and it was hard for him. He got knocked down, but then he won the next 2 rounds pretty decisively, in my opinion. I don't know why people scored it for him. He's good striking, decent wrestling. He did beat Tim Elliott as well. He's looked very clean in his last 2 fights. Ramazan Tamirov also massively outsized here. The main thing he's looking for is that round 1 KO. But he's mainly gotten it against undersized guys. Like, this guy needed roids to go to a split. No, it was a unanimous decision, but a 29-28 against Charles Johnson of all people. I don't think he lost by any means, but it should not have been that close. Charles Johnson sucks. Either way, Tamirov needs that round 1 KO. Otherwise, he kind of slows down. He starts to gas. Erceg's been in there. He's been 5 rounds twice in his last 5 fights. He's been to the decision 4 times in the last 5 fights as well. The last time he didn't was his finish over Matt Schnell and his loss to Kai Kara-France. So I'm going Steve Erceg by decision. I could see him getting a round 2 KO if he puts a pace on him and he gasses early. But I think the money line on Steve Erceg is pretty good. Should not be this close. Steve Erceg will show levels in this fight. Finally, the main event of the evening. Short notice replacement Bogdan Guskov comes in for Khalil Roundtree. Roundtree's injured again. What a bum. Pretty embarrassing. Sad for Bogdan Guskov. He's coming off a draw to Jan Blachowicz in a very good fight, which I did think he lost because I didn't score a 10-8 for him, but he's not bad by any means. A lot of finishing upside. Similar age to Magomed Ankalaev. He's got, I think, 3 or 4 finishes straight. Yeah, finishing Nikita Krylov last. Billy Elikana by sub. I think he knocked out Zach Pauga, and he finished Ryan Spann. Honestly, 3 wins. 1 win that hasn't aged well, but 2 of those wins have aged pretty well. Ryan Spann went up to heavyweight, did lose to Waldo Cortez Acosta, but now he's on a 2-fight. He's finished 2 guys at heavyweight. Billy Elikana did build a bit of a streak for himself as well, so pretty impressive for Bogdan Guskov. This is just a bit of a level change that might be too high. I do obviously it's Jan Blachowicz, but he did go to it's 2 guys that have gone to a draw, and it's just too short notice, and it's quite a bit of an opponent change. I might have said something different if Bogdan Guskov and Ankalaev is also coming off 2 title fights in a row. Did get KO'd by Alex Pereira. Not a good look in 5 minutes. It is Alex Pereira, but still was not as even close to as competitive their first fight was. And looking back, Magomed Ankalaev only has one he has only one ranked win in the top 10 currently. I think it's Alex Pereira, but he also is 1-1, so you can't really he barely has a ranked win in the UFC right now. It's kind of sad for him. Bogdan Guskov fast on the feet. He is strong. He is a bit bigger, he comes in weighing more. Ankalaev still a very good kickboxer. His probably best bet is a round one KO over Ankalaev. Otherwise, he's kind of cooked. It is 5 rounds. He's gone from a 3 rounder to a 5 rounder as well. That is something important to note. He has got a 1 inch reach advantage, but I don't think that's going to do much. Ankalaev, probably a kickboxing decision fest. Hasn't had a lot of finishing upside for a while. I mean, he knocked out Johnny Walker, but Johnny Walker's been very chinny before that. Decision went Alexander Rakic, not really aged well since he got knocked out by Azamat in like a round. So I'll say Ankalaev by decision. Minus 460. I don't probably like maybe a finish prop somewhere there, but I don't want to say I don't want to bet Ankalaev. If anything, I'll go Bogdan Guskov by KO in the first, just because that's probably what it is, or maybe round 1 and 2. I think that's probably what it is. Ankalaev won't gas. Bogdan probably does gas. It is his first 5 rounder. That's it for UFC Abu Dhabi. Not a lot on this card, quite in terms of names. A lot of prospects being built from the UAE scene. My GOAT pick of the week is the guy I just talked about previous, Steve Erceg. I think minus 130 at a money line is very good. I think it might be pick'em now, like around minus 115. So very good odds for Steve Erceg. Very surprised that people are doubting him this much, especially because Ramazan has been on a bit of a break, and he's also got the steroids out of his system, so we're not really going to be sure how well that fight goes for him. That's going to be it, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for listening, boys. Have a good one. Peace.